The learners have 2 weeks to complete this colouring in project. And as I did mention, some of them will need to take them home and want to work on tiny details at home, and others will work quickly and you'd need to kind of slow them down a little bit. Today I have started on my leopard in its environment. I've started the colouring and I'm going to work a little bit alongside you in a moment just to show you how I've been approaching it. Just a little bit of a reminder, I looked at leaves, but I've actually taken different ideas from all of these leaves. As I started colouring, I started liking this kind of striation, but I didn't want to include the red. So I'm kind of problem solving all the time. I had a look at the different markings for the leopard and the different footprints. I didn't think I was going to do this one at all, but as I started colouring, I thought, yeah, why not? I do actually want to bring in something a little bit unpredictable, a little bit of purpley blue. But the fact that I worked on these things beforehand was very, very valuable because I now have a kind of vocabulary of experience, and problem solving is very much part of art. So on the one hand, we need to stay in the heart, the inspiration, feeling the animal, how to make it come alive. But on the other hand, if we can gather as many techniques as possible and as many color experiences as possible, we can bring those in to solve problems of integration. So integration means how to bring an artwork together, how to make it work, how to work with contrast, how to work with tone, how to give it the illusion of three-dimensional form. So problem solving really is assisted if we've got a lot of different techniques on the tips of our fingers. Okay, so you've got to, on the one hand, focus on techniques, on the other hand, balance it with inspiration. Okay, so here is an example of the start of my leopard in its environment. And I've got some problems here that I am busy solving as I'm going along. I have started to use colors I didn't expect, as I mentioned, and what I'm going to do is keep this line exercise at hand, because as I'm going, I'm finding I'm still looking at things and thinking maybe this, maybe that, and then I'll try out different combinations on my line drawing on this fun exercise. It's just a way of keeping it fun. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind. And another thing is the paper is to stop the learners from smudging their work, resting their hand on their work and smudging it as they go along. So it's a good tip to ask them to keep it on top of the work, and as they move around, they move the paper around so that they don't have all these smudge marks. Talking about smudging, another tip is to ask them to avoid kind of trying to make it smooth with their finger, because once they've done that, it's very hard to get those fine, subtle shading marks. They kind of leave a bit of grease on the paper. It's not really the most effective technique. And the other thing I want to keep in mind is learners can often take their work and then they put it close to them and they fold it and they work on it and they end up coming up with a big crease mark. So one thinks they should know not to do that, but many of them actually don't. You've got to remind them, keep the work away from you, keep it uncreased and keep it unsmudged. Right, I'm going to get started and share with you some of the problems that I'm coming up with in terms of how to integrate my work.